Ashland wakes up today buried under piles of garbage, and we can feel it everywhere. Our police stations, our fire stations, even our crematoriums, they're all overflowing with trash. With garbage piled high, the efficiency of our essential services is plummeted. Our police stations should have 6 cars protecting our streets, but with the trash crisis, we're down to just 3 patrol cars. And those 3 cars can't even handle the wave of crime overtaking our neighborhoods. Of our 2,500 citizens, 207 are criminals, and they're succeeding at 100% of every crime they commit. Our families don't feel safe, businesses are frustrated, and citywide happiness is dropping rapidly. So today, we're going to fix our garbage problem. But before we do that, I forgot to make the road coming out of the city 3-lane asymmetrical like this lane. And I'm going to get that done and fix traffic just like last time. I can't believe I'm back here. For some reason, I couldn't find the road in Road Builder, so I just remade it, nudged it over a bit so that the through motion is prioritized, and then just fixed up the traffic control. All right, now back to our problem. You can see that we have our overpiling trash at our police station and our fire station, and that's leading to a whole bunch of crime pretty much everywhere. So we're gonna go with this tile right here. It's relatively flat, has a very cheap tile upkeep. Now, usually you wouldn't really care whether the area you're choosing for your landfill is flat or not, but in this case, we can say that the city plans to sell off some of the extra space to some businesses, and the operational cost of creating the landfill on the flat area will be much easier than having to do a bunch of grading. So we're going to start our road here, come in at a 90, put an additional road up here. I want to use the complex curve tool and make a nice sweeping clean connection into here. We'll also turn on constant slope and ground level. That gives us a nice clean road that follows and respects the topography. Now I'm just going to continue this road down a little bit. In the future, I could see this road making its way all the way down the hill and connecting up with somewhere else. Then we'll add a second road in here and then do the same thing with the curve tool. We'll just connect right in, make a nice sweeping motion. For placement, I want this to be placed very close to the edge of the tile, if not on the edge of the tile. We need to run a road in front of it, so we'll need to keep that in mind. And maybe we'll run a road beside it as well. Unfortunately, we'll need to take a small 100K loan to pay for all of this. Now we'll start by running our roads along the edge of our tile. I'll connect into the highway temporarily to give me a sort of guideline. Okay, now with our road in place, we can place the landfill. Place it right along the edge of the tile, but we want to leave about 1 or 2 units for a road to run through it. Okay, now we just need to stretch out our surfaces and fill out where we want our landfill to be. Looking at this, I think it might be too small, but we'll roll with it. I'm going to keep a separation of 1 unit from the road just so I can add some trees. Now we'll add a road beside it. Make sure anarchy's off, of course. Now, if we had more money, I would have loved to run direct roads right to the landfill. Unfortunately, we don't, so we can't do that, but I'm thinking in the future that might be something we return to fix. Now I want to add a second connection here, 6 units away from the highway, just to give us some space. We'll delete that road. We'll create a little node, turning anarchy on, delete that road, and then we'll make a nice sweeping curve into this road, and it's going to look nice. I'm going to clear some of these trees so I can see what I'm doing. I want to add some industrial, and maybe we add it on the hill, and we tell the businesses to front the cost of the development there. We're taking the prime land for ourselves and then giving the not so good land to the businesses. And there's a little space right here. I'm going to save it for future landfill expansion. I don't really want to have to use it, but again, I think we're going to have to use it. As I was thinking about how to build the road infrastructure down here, I really thought, wait a minute, we have a really flat space that businesses would jump on immediately, and it's already using the existing infrastructure, so it's an easy sell. Before I build out some industrial right in that little plot there, I'm going to extend this road just a tiny bit. Okay, now I want to run some alleys through here. We're going to keep a 1 unit separation from the highway. Now I want the buildings fronting Brook Lane, so I'm going to remove all of the zoning on Park Lane, and we're going to add it in. Now before I click play, I just want to add some trees to the outsides of the landfill. I think it's going to look a lot nicer, be a lot easier on the eyes. Also, I noticed there's a path here for a potential connection. I'm going to add it in. I don't know if it makes all that sense. I would imagine there's some sort of gate there. Maybe we'll add one in the detailing section. All right, we're ready to click play. Let's see what the damage is. Right now we're negative 496 an hour, and we're officially going into the red because we spent all our money. And we don't have water, sewage, or power. Gotta be some of the worst city planning ever. Okay, I ran some lights down the highway, and although that's not the realistic solution, that's the only solution that I can apply right now. I also ran the water and sewage pipes underneath the highway. Looking at our industrial, we have no parking, so I'm gonna add some, probably not close to the highway, but I will do it on the sides of the buildings. They need somewhere to park, they need somewhere to drive their car to. We're way out in the boons. Okay, since we're bleeding money anyways, I'm going to do a bit of detailing. I'll probably go way too far beyond into it, like I always do. First, I'm going to delete these fences around all the buildings, and then I'm going to do the surfaces next. I have this great pack by G87, and it's the Concrete Surfaces pack. He just released it not too long ago, and I've been excited to use it. For this building, I can't actually see where the lanes are, so I'm just going to turn on Show Markers, and that'll show it to me, and then I can finish it up by adding a few points. And then I'll just do the same thing over here. Now it doesn't really matter which surface I use next, but I want to get rid of the grass, place the surface down. If we don't like the surface, we can always just replace it with the bucket tool. But for right now, I'm just going to pull out that surface, get it stretched across, and remove all the grass. Okay, now something still feels off, and I think it's these extra surfaces. So we're going to remove some of these and add different ones in. We don't need a dark and light pavement. And because these surfaces overlap, we can place them right on top of roads. And I think this is what's really going to improve our look. Okay, now I want to experiment a bit. I want to see what types of surfaces we can throw on top of here and find one that really feels good. And after messing around a bit, I think I really like this one. Of course, there's still some improvements that need to be made, but right now it's looking pretty good. And to me, every industrial site needs to have some of these decals on them. It really completes the look. It makes it feel so much more dirtier and just real. The buildings in City Skylines too, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some really good assets, but a lot of them in the base game are just too clean and it doesn't feel like an industrial area. It just feels way too pristine, and that's the look we don't want in our industrial area. And I really do love that so much more. Now for the roads, we're going to add some decals to them as well. Just to really make this seem like it's been worked in. Okay, now I'm going to add the industrial fence around the perimeter of the area. This isn't really to keep people out, it's more so just to keep the workers from running into the highway, or maybe someone comes and crashes into the fence. I'd rather the fence than the people. And to finish up, we're just going to recolor this to be black. No, that's way too dark. Something more like, yeah, that works. So we'll recolor the fence into kind of like a darky gray. And looking at this grass portion right here, it really does feel a bit odd with it here. So I think we're going to take some of our concrete and stretch it out along the fence. And right here, I'd imagine there's some crates, there's some basic industrial stuff that you see, maybe some materials, tools, etc. We're going to add those in as well. When I was younger, I used to work in a manufacturing, industrial type business. And the one thing I appreciated the most was having benches outside to go sit, eat, get some fresh air, and just do anything else. And finally, to end things off here, I'm just going to add a bit more dirt and stains to the industrial and the landfill. And spoke too soon. It's just like I thought. We used up our landfill space so quickly that we need to expand it just a bit. Really, this problem's not going to go away until we get an alternative means of dealing with trash, like recycling. But in the meantime, I think this is what we're going to have to do because we can't afford anything. We keep balancing and teeter-tottering between going in the green and going in the red, and it's been a tough balance. There's lots of things happening in the city. There's some medical problems. I mean, our budget for our medical has been reduced. But overall, our crime is in a much better place. In fact, all of those numbers we discussed earlier, they've all gone down. We got green coverage everywhere. So this is something I'm pleased with. This means we actually hit the goal and our trash was able to fix our crime. I'm actually really pleased with how this came out. You know, it looks dirty. It looks a bit messy. There's some trash everywhere, and industrial and manufacturing typically doesn't have trash everywhere. It's just we're very limited on our props. So it's like, what props can I use that gives this life? And I've let it run for quite a bit of time now. I'm gonna let it run just a bit longer. We're gonna finish up our detailing on our landfill, and for that we're just gonna again make it feel worked in. We're gonna add some dirt, some stains, some decals. That's pretty much it. We're gonna finish up the trees just because, you know, we can't leave this area off without adding some more trees. And there we go. This finally feels complete. I know it sounds silly, but trees really do make the area. And there we go, Ashland is finally back on track. If you've enjoyed watching our little city overcome its challenges today, please like, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks again for spending your time here in Ashland, and I'll see you in the next one.